Okay, so I actually thought all this while that I was live, only to discover that I wasn't. I still need to get a hang of OBS and YouTube how it works. Possibly I get to get a hang of it to be much better. But this is my first week. I think this week's stream number 7, and it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting what's being able to pull this, so it's quite exciting also. Anyways, on the actually I was talking about the gigowi project, and yeah, I was just going through it, what I'm working on and all that. Yeah, and today's part of the plan is also there is a resource I wanted to share. Possibly founders might see this, they should check it out. You know, I also tweet about it when I'm done from this stream. I saw it like earlier today, and I went through the list, and it's quite good. It's quite good. But before getting to that, let's talk about Gigoyan. As you can see, I was on it before the stream. I got notified that the stream is that my stream time has arrived. So I was working on the Nest.js side of things. I was working on the Nest.js phase, and hopefully I'm able to complete it this weekend. Yeah, I'm able to complete it this weekend, and once I'm completing it, the next thing is getting to wire it. But one thing that is lame is Gemini is kind of not really that good with Nest.js. It makes some silly mistakes, which I don't really enjoy, you know. So I have to manually review everything on each face. It's not like the front end where I can look on the UI and adjust things, and if possible go in and write some code here and there. I think it might improve. I tweeted about it some time back. Maybe their bots would have seen it. But still, that same issue is there. Most times it boils down to dependency injection and how it's handled by the AI. You know. So hopefully they get to fix it. And that aside, this is it. Like, the agents made a blunder. It was trying to restrict how the subtags would be like, and I don't want that. And funny enough, most products I've been building recently, that is how I envision product to be flexible, because when it's flexible, users can possibly discover certain use case that you're not familiar with, you know. And most times AI helps in creating, you know, like once a product is integrating AI into user experience, you know, the main thing is AI should be able to like achieve a certain level of flexibility, or the user should be able to achieve a certain level of flexibility thanks to the AI, and that makes it more interesting. And I think it's not just me thinking about that; it connects to what a lot of people out here, products being built in the age of AI. It encompasses that whole idea. That's why you're seeing things like generative UI, you know, being built, you know, the Flutter ecosystem. And yeah, I'm a Flutter dev. Okay, I think my introduction stream actually was completely offline, and I wasn't aware all through. So I introduced myself, being a mentor and all that. So um, it's quite loud. Yeah. So I'm a Flutter dev, and give me a moment, please. Let me. Okay, I was muted. Anyways, I'm back. And so Flutter is experimenting with generative UI. I think on the web it's quite easy. going ahead with that, you can get AI to write the normal HTML, CSS, and JS on the go, whichever way, because that is the whole idea of generative UI. And things like that, making the experience dynamic and all that really matters a lot. So with that being said, yeah, I don't coding on call is not something except I plan it ahead of time. I realize that people want it. I don't like coding on call, especially on stream like this. I want the stream to be usually about 1 hour. For now, possibly in the future, be coding on call. Actually, it's not that I don't like coding on call, but I like it to be more interactive. And currently, I don't have any viewer or anything, so how will I know that what is going on is quite interesting. So I like to keep it short, concise, and possibly things that can be, helpful to people later on. Yeah. So with this, I think we'll move from this point. I'll change my window. Currently now I can handle my window capture real good. I know how to shuffle it. Next up is which window is this? Yeah, the startup packs I was talking about. So I'll post the link in the chats for those that later on want to check it out. You can just check it out. Let me type it here. My other PC. Get so start up X URL. Okay, so check it out. And share it in the chat. So Startup X contains a lot of, and I think they keep updating it. And if you click on this show verified only, you get to see only verified on this thing. That is the ones that the guys organizing this or aggregating this have tried that and it works. Personally, I've applied to Amazon Web Service. I didn't get it. To be honest, I didn't get it. But I think based on their process, it might be rare. So I know some personally who got it. We are in a startup community group that is on Symbal. Applied with Symbal. I didn't get it. I also got to apply with a friend startup that I co-founded. I told him to apply. Also, he didn't get it. So who knows? Also, Google Cloud startup. I am planning to apply with gigowi. I don't know if it will work. To be honest. Anthropic. I'm not using their API. I don't know if they'll think really want like. Okay, the requirement is open seed. I can't apply. So that's screening me out. But bootstrap startup, that is something that you're operating with your money or friends or family supporting you and all that. This and this, you can try both of them. Google for Startup Cloud program. I applied with Simba, but I didn't get it. I think majorly is due to the fact that Simba integrated Web3 payments. Initially, we couldn't get. It's quite difficult being a founder for Africa. So if you want to support global payment easily using Stripe as an African founder, there are certain kind of product you can't build product in deep tech easily. Else you must have to spend certain amount of money, set up an LLC in the US and all that. That's a requirement, or possibly an LLC in UK or some jurisdictions Stripe supports. Set up an LLC there and then apply it, which costs money. And you get to see American indie devs talking about how easy it is getting started with just $100, just $200, you're up and running. It's not for it's not for an African founder. Africans are meant to work, so that's the reality. So applying to Stripe, for example, now I think you have to apply to a Stripe Atlas program. I saw some advert. I think Dula is one of them. You have to register an LLC. That is the whole idea. Once that LLC is registered, next up you get to what else again? Then you can now apply to Stripe and start accepting payments. And yeah, you need a US bank account. And I think Mercury recently, it's just crazy. Let me put it that way. So you need a US bank account, and I think some US bank account has a restriction. Let me see. Mercury is popular, but recently, is it recently or over a year ago now, requirements for international founders. Register US business, IAIN, which you get when you register a business, and US business address. You also need a valid passport. The description of your business activity, SSN or US visa are not required, though applicant for heavily restricted, yes. And I think they recently restricted Nigeria or something. So it also became difficult. But getting a US bank account won't really be an issue to basically take out your payout. I'm not sure it will be an issue. Uh, Won't be an issue. Possibly you get a US co-founder that will handle that with you. I think getting a co-founder, if you're able to register a business, also shouldn't be an issue. You know. But the main problem is around getting started if you are really down to nothing. I almost did that last year, but and also you have to renew it every year. I think that was what puts me off. You have to be renewing it every year or something like that. You have to pay every year. I think it's $100 or something. Else your company will be taking down. So I saw some glimpse of the whole process. I was like, I'll really need to find an alternative. And I think one alternative I'll consider if I'm building a product and I want international payment is to channel it through supported African payments like Flutterwave, Stripe. I mean, Flutterwave, PayPal. They support international payment. I think Stripe owns PayPal, but you need to apply and they will review your business before turning it on, and they also charge a higher percentage. Possibly, if I get a good amount of revenue, yeah, register a US based LLC won't be an issue. It can won't afford me the opportunity of applying to YC, you know. So it's all good on the long run. But it's being optimistic though. I'm optimistic through the whole process, you know. And yeah, let's see. What else again do I plan on talking about? This Cloud Opus 5 is out. I think that's the biggest news. I saw it yesterday on X. And the cost is it's a bit high compared to what Gemini offer, to be honest. But it boils down to your product. If you are not building a coding related product, there is no need doing this. Using Claude in your product. It's good for things that are coding related. Else it's an overkill. What decision making that you cannot configure with RAG or possibly, what's that process? I really need you to use Claude and be paying $25 per million token. It's kind of high, but it's quite good. Because one thing about AI is the point that Claude Opus. I'm not disputing the fact that it will be possibly be the best out there or among the best at the moment. But the point it is at the moment, in less than 6 months, other models like Gemini will catch up. You know, so why would you? Most models currently already offer certain features that you can afford to integrate into products. So I've not seen, except it's a coding related product. That's a caveat. A coding related product, it's really intensive. A product that the AI um, engine really needs high thinking, like it's intensive tasks. There's no point. Yeah. So mid conversation, two changes and all that. But Claude is really nice though, to be honest. So Claude is out. And what else again do I plan on talking about? So I've talked about gigowi, which is already being worked on, and hopefully on Monday I'll also stream tomorrow every day. I plan on streaming every day. Even if it's just 5 minutes in a day, I will stream. Yeah, I saw a news that was quite interesting. I don't know if it will appear here. When it is a new AI lab. Found this founder of LinkedIn. He's a billionaire. He's also raising money. So I will go through this news. On this, That's quite sad, but wishing them luck. I can't talk about this. I really want to know about what AI personality is all about. Building public, feeling public. I'm also interested in this. I can't talk about this. I actually know some things about this, but I don't know. Politics, I'm out. Um, Response to Chinese, yeah. I think we have gone off some business. So, yeah, twenties. Why is there? How do I push this? Twenties an AI lab co-founded by Reid Hoffman. Twenties focused on computer use models. Co-founded by serial entrepreneur Ritika Das and tech heavyweight Mark Pincus. Actually, forget the fact that I mentioned earlier that with Hoffman is a billionaire, why does he need to raise? But the fact is, I'm sure he has invested. The same as Mark Pincus. They have invested, kept it going and all that. To learn how office workers navigate the teamwork flow across documents and systems, they go of building AI agents that can control computers to automate these tasks. I would have really loved to work with them. Let me not lie. Because this is something I was targeting to build with ebere, but the vision and the whole thing, I don't know how like pitchy, the skill basically. The skill is too much. I can't. Ebere AI, which I talked about earlier. For those that might not know about it, this is. So the whole idea is you run company operations from Telegram. So it's an AI supervisor from Telegram and WhatsApp. Telegram has been connected, but I took it down. I think it was due to MongoDB Atlas I was using. Yeah, that was where the issue stemmed from. So I had to take down the database, and that affected it in general. But with that being said, I'll still work on it later on. But currently, I'm kind of like I'm focused on just gigowi and possibly sometimes Smiler. Yeah, I'm looking for a gig. Like I'm kind of down badly at the moment. But it is we are ostensibly develop agents tailored to these customers' needs, such as handling insurance claim, automating costumes, duty refunds. Basically, an automated system assisting workers, and the long-term goal, I guess, is to push out workers as much as possible while keeping the cost low. Yeah, actually, is it good? Is it bad? Actually, the when you hear okay, push out workers, the primary thought is that's bad. That's bad already. But on the other hand, what we define as the modern day economy will change. It will change. What humans do will change. But I'm kind of the whole ideal society for AI is it will create a world whereby you can afford not to work and still have access to liquidity and all that. It creates wealth. People want to spend and they spend go back because there's a limit to what you can spend. That's why you can see billionaires most times 100 billion, 50 billion. There's a good chance they are not that. They are quite liquid compared to a normal day person. They have access to 100 million, to 1 billion, you know. But they are not withdrawing all their value because they literally can't spend it in all. What are you trying to get? Is it a private jet and all that and an apartment? So there's limit to what they spend, and if an ideal world, those amounts should be able to rotate back to those that are in need. But I don't know. The world is not really ideal. That's the sad reality. Else with AI, people don't need to work much again to create value. And that value now, people will now focus on much better value, things that people don't see as value previously. Will see it as value, possibly. So what I'm trying to say is an ideal world, people shouldn't be working much because AI will be doing some hard work and then people will focus more on things that are really interesting while still having access to um, income that will help them to survive, income that will help them to live a good life. There's a lot to go around, but we don't know what will happen if AI take all the whole job. So, from what I'm seeing, Print is doing, they are training a model. It's not like us using an open weight model and trying to configure it with prompts, agentic frameworks, and all that. Wow. Lintika Das profile is kind of interesting. Let me let me check his profile on LinkedIn. Wow. Basically, I do that a lot to find interesting things. And funny enough, I'm one person that haven't been updating my. I'm so antisocial. That's why I started streaming because it makes it easy. Like I see my pitfalls and everything, and keep improving. Vertical dance, Green Takandas. Yeah, this is his profile. There's another Green Takandas who is a Spring Boot developer. There's another Green Takandas building the future of agentic. I think this is based in India. The other is based in UK, but I'll see who I'm looking for. Wow, that is a chat. Him being able to like achieve all this. It's no small feat. It's no small feat. He's sending me connection request. Even though he will not reply, will not accept or anything of such. Hi Takadas. Hope when this AI does well and wishing you luck. Okay. With that being said, off I go. What's the next news? Why cognition bot poop on the episode? AI personality is one thing I don't really believe in. The best you can get is AI assistant. Okay. When you say AI personality, I'm referring to AI assistant, the text like before it's making this big. Apart that yet, chance more familiar you use and responding like a friend when completely slang or to this interaction. Okay, I think when they were talking about personality, I was thinking I've actually read something like it was Microsoft talking about it, an AI clone of yourself that I think that is something like that, something like the metaverse merged with AI. I was completely wrong. That was part of me. Look at another nice news here. After this, I'll be checking it out. How is that engage with this AI? I think they are doing similar thing to this popular this thing, OpenClaw. They're doing something similar to OpenClaw, and that is exactly what I'm trying to build with ebere AI. Like that is the an experience I'm trying to achieve. Just that ebere AI will be focused on just one thing. Good chat for it. Workplace appeal to males and their AI agents in the same conversations. What is the model agnostic? Centralized self-sovereign and source. How are they taking on GitHub? That is what I'm trying to understand. Will they be integrating Git into it? Like you being able to store your code based on what? It will be interesting if it's like a self-hosted or Like if it's self-hosted, Ethereum or GitHub, so you know that you're controlling the server and laying your code. Although GitHub is an awesome platform, given the fact that they're free for you to use their core feature. If Buzz is live, I'm going to try it out. So I'm not the only one building with .xyz. Billionaire is also building with it, so it's quite cool. That's validation. I did something similar like to this recently. That is C stack. That is actually C stack. I built something similar to it recently. What is quite interesting as this one being described here because you can afford to, like, you have a dashboard. Not everybody wants to interact with an API, even though I think integrating API, so far there's a documentation, it's quite easy now with AI agents. Just give them an LLM description and you're good to go. I'll look at boss, get the app. The app is leading me to GitHub. Then I'll install the Windows desktop app. Is a desktop app. Or should I build it as a desktop app? No, wait. Even if I want to build it as a desktop app, I'll just make use of Electron. Nothing is out of it so far is what the user wants. That is what I'm trying to hit as fast as possible. I say ebere, sorry, gigowi. Okay, your people, your agents, communicate with your team, bring in your agents, manage your Git project. I'm really interested in this Git idea. I think I will try it out later on. And the code is open source, so I'll try it out later on. As for this, I've build in public, field in public. I don't do building, but I haven't done build in public. That's a reality. Started coding at 15 is easy. Yes. Couple small code. Wow, this idea is nice. API index for AI agents. It's something similar to the startup X I shared earlier. This is me basically. After building symbal for close to how many months now? I've been working on symbal. The funny thing about symbal.1 is I started working on it. Like I wanted to one thing that kept bugging me earlier last year was how the platform like Lovable and others work. So when Boots was having its hackathon, I wanted to implement an engine like that flow of being able to get AI to write code and you seeing it, the experience, streaming it and all that. I wanted to implement something similar. I wanted to know how it works. So first I implemented the engine. I stayed here for a long while. Yeah. Then I think that was August when the startup program took place. I was now told them that this is what I'm building and everybody was mind blown. We were like, okay, let me pick this up and keep improving on it, And that was how Simba came about. Okay, that was how Simba came about. And it's quite interesting. It's basically my most successful product, even though it's not that spectacular compared to what others have achieved. But it's basically my most successful product ever. And currently, yeah. And currently it's being managed by my co-founder, like his activity while I'm working on something else. I literally told her, yeah, I'll be there to make fixes to it, I'll be there to add this to it. But given the fact that investors don't think it's works, also I need to so basically what we are doing, we are applying to program grants and all that by trying to make ends meet and meet ends meet. Is that how you say? Yeah, so that is what we are trying to achieve. I think I understand what you're trying to write here. I'll read this much better later on. Integrate your way to an outline of the norm. And this is a fact. Because even Kuso Kuso founders didn't believe that they're going to succeed that much. Out of the blues, AI coding became a thing and they became so good that people will, you cannot be the biggest fish in the pond. Once you are the biggest fish, people will be betting on the next bigger fish, and all that. And possibly the next bigger fish will offer something that will outpace you before you catch up. That was what happened between VS Code, Kuso, and Anti Gravity back then, Windsurf. I think I tried Windsurf then, although it was it was Windsurf that came out as an extension, if I'm not mistaken. I tried it. It was off, I just left it. But when I had a hang of AI coding was when Copilot became free for a week or something like that, which the Microsoft CEO announced himself on X. I got hooked. And then I was working on some contracts, so it was kind of fast working with it. I knew it was making mistakes, but I could fix the mistake because I'm an experienced developer. So kind of fast, and that was where I was like, immediately a free trial ended, and I finished the contract. I took I think $100 annual subscription, which expired April. This past April, to Copilot, and it was spectacular. I got more contracts. Me using AI to deliver project as fast as possible. The reputation kept going, even though currently a lot of people are not building projects. Some founders want to try building with AI first, and yeah, there are devs out there using AI to do their things. And it's not bad. It's not bad, to be honest. Nobody knows what's coming, but something is coming. There are devs building products for $200, and they'll promise you a full stack product, even though it will break along the line. But at least you have validated your idea, and you know that it works or it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, when it breaks, you move on with your life. Your loss is minimal, which is much different to what we had back then, whereby you can spend up to $5,000 just to launch a product and then find out that it's not working. You get. So AI is quite good on its own end. If you look at it on the one hand, it's quite good. And there's this company, yes, where you're coming from everybody. It's a very nice time people I'm not under this pressure. I'm not proving anything to anyone. What I'm trying to prove is to the customers or people that are going to use the app, the thing I'm building. That's the only thing I want to prove. And I currently have a product that, unique experience when tracking on Symbol. More than 10,000 people have visited Symbol. Yeah. So, in that case, if 10,000 people have seen my product, my next goal at this point is getting a million people to see my product. A million people using their eyes to see my product. If I say a million eyes, it's 500,000 people. Yeah, I want to have that feeling. Set the tracker and be like, never someone visit it and try it out. Getting to see a million people trying out my product is my goal. Simba, you don't need to sign in to try it out. Okay? But I don't care if it's sign up or it's unique visit or getting a million people to try my product, my next goal. Hopefully, I get to achieve that goal. Yes, it's Lion clearly. But Lee is a legend with what he did last year. Basically, that's the peak. Colombia expelled him or something like that. Columbia University expelled him. Certain university back because certain company is blacklisted. And the whole thing. And funny enough, he wasn't building in public. That's the reality of Lee. He wasn't building in public at all. He wasn't building in public. He actually launched in public and kept riding the wave. And what he did with clipping, the whole idea of clipping, creating content, posting on X, trying to rage bait people, and all that. It was crazy. Him capitalizing on people that doubting him. I was like, this guy is amazing what he's trying to do. Now this is what I'm more focused on. Customers. I just feel like I need to talk to customers. That's my own approach, basically. Yeah. Tech about. This is it. So a lot of founders, like especially those from Africa, this is the state of Africa tech. So I will be going through tech about Africa tech related news, just talk about it. I enjoy reading their newsletter, which I usually send in to my mail. But so this I think is something around that trailer thought whereby a lot of people are doing quite well in Africa, but there's a limit. Or there's a kind of like an invisible cap to what you can achieve still stay in Africa. Him going there now with 100,000 will be okay in the US, and there's a good chance he have exposure to those making a billion, millions, and all that. Getting to easily pitch his products, getting to people to see it, getting to launch it, and people can easily pay for it. I think that's the gain of Africa. Launching the product in Africa, it's only businesses and people that can pay for it. So that's why you have to overvalue it here. If you have building a consumer product, you have to capitalize on things like adverts. Yeah. Because except you offer real value, and what is real value? If you're building a product that can afford to make people money, there's a good chance that people might not pay for your products. Or there's some values that you offer, like community value. Like that is one insight I got on Simba that I just mentioned to it. And community has most communities are sponsored by organizations, so that can't afford to pay. So it still boils down to brands, organizations that have been able to make it possible. So the whole point is, what am I saying? So the whole point I'm making is, in Africa there's an invisible cap, but you can still explode. You can still blow through that cap. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Nobody knows what's going to happen. You can still blow through the cap, but there's an invisible cap, which is around millions of dollars, and it gets tighter, really tight. But you can still be the outlier like Flutterwave, Paystack, those billion-dollar companies. Yeah. So, oh, I've already spent, yeah, no concurrent views. I've already spent 39 minutes on stream. So, with that being said, yeah, the news I was talking about that really hard, that made me feel good is this, guys. Check. Is this check stock has crashed? Let me search for check crash. Collapse. The former 14 $1 per share. I'm buying paid service for free. Because check back then, they don't care about you. I remember during my final year project, I wanted to use check badly. But you can't. But we hear now that there's a good chance you can easily get any resource. It's just that students are using it wrongly or copy paste. I'm telling you that that is their research. Actually, you can get reference, get to see ideas easily. Like if you want to search for a paper, come to Google and the AI get the paper, you verify it easily, find what you're looking for easily. Back then, check. Even if you want to do your assignment, you need a reference to do your assignment and all that. Check is not easy to get through. Yeah, and if this really pivoting to corporate workforce, learning AI courses, let's see how it goes. But I guess this, but they should be okay. Like Check made a lot of money back then. They made a whole lot of money back then, so that will be alright. And but I saw someone actually laughing about it on TikTok. I smiled. He's one of those students that has been frustrated by Check previously. I know that for sure. And it's not just one person. There are various videos people laughing about the downfall of Check. Yeah. So with that, I think we have come to the end of everything for today. Today's session was middle of the afternoon because I plan on streaming just once. I don't know what the future holds. If this blows up, why won't I stream 10 times in a day? I might even stream everything if this blows up. But if it doesn't, I have nothing to lose. I have an evidence. I have a diary for myself. I will watch later on. So with that being said, that's all for now. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday. I also scheduled to stream in the afternoon. Yeah, and I'll schedule it right now. So possibly someone might find this video and want to join. Okay, so bye for now and a lovely weekend. The weekend is here.